If you looked at a chart of Bitcoin, as many technicians have from the beginning of this year, they've basically said this thing's going back to 10 to 12,000. That's where it has support.
Hi, I'm Crypto Positive. If you are new to the channel, please smash like and subscribe. And now let's enjoy the video.
If you looked at a chart of Bitcoin, as many technicians have from the beginning of this year, they've basically said this thing's going back to 10 to 12,000. That's where it has support. It doesn't have much support between here and there. Well, guess what? It stopped at 15.5 and it is now around 17. So it has withstood a massive amount of uncertainty in terms of what's going on in the crypto market. And one of the things we have been impressed by is how the Bitcoin blockchain and Ethereum, neither one of them skipped a beat in terms of operations. No transactions interrupted at all. How Bitcoin blockchain and Ethereum, neither one of them skipped a beat in terms of operations. No transactions interrupted at all. If you think back, if you were in the markets in 2008, 2009, the markets froze. Banks stopped processing. They didn't know where the counterparty risk was, and the absence of information, the absence of transparency, the market froze and the Fed had to come in. It was a near-death experience for the global financial system. Well, it has not been a near-death experience for crypto. And it's highlighting how important transparency is. We can see every transaction on the network by IP address. We can follow the money by IP address. And the decentralization of the network is also paramount. You know, it was very interesting that Sam Bankman-Fried never liked Bitcoin. Well, it's becoming obvious to me now that I know he never liked it, why he didn't like it. It's because it's not centralized. There's no way to control it, like he was controlling his empire. So it highlights this, the dual nature, decentralization, transparency, and regulators are beginning to understand this. The newest SEC commissioner, Jaime Lizarraga, still getting used to his name, he highlighted how important decentralization and transparency are, and a lesson learned from this crisis. And so from a regulatory point of view, the focus on those two variables could be very good for the crypto asset ecosystem. And then just to put into perspective the fallout from crypto, at its peak, the crypto asset ecosystem, all of it, I think there are more than 10,000 crypto assets. Most of them, or many of them, will not be worth much, but there has been a lot of speculation. The entire crypto asset ecosystem hit somewhere between $2.9 and $3 trillion. Is now down to roughly $800 billion. Now, put that in context. Apple is a $2.3 trillion company, one stock. So that just gives you a sense of how early we are still, and how unlikely it is that what has happened in crypto could cause a systemic financial crisis. Now, we probably are going to see more fallout, and we think we can dimension it. One of the ones I think we have a lot of facts on this. DCG, Digital Currency Group, owns Genesis, and it may have borrowed roughly $1 billion from Genesis. So $1 billion, it could be between $1 and $2 billion. Now, to give you a sense of that, the Lehman Brothers bankruptcy claims were $1.2 trillion. So we're not talking anything like that. We are talking counterparty risk, again, shades or echoes of that crisis. Reinforcing this idea is with transparency, you will have a much better understanding of counterparty risk. With decentralization, the counterparty risk should be lessened. Closed ecosystems are not a wise idea. And human-driven decisions, especially in a moment of a crisis, as opposed to smart contract automated decisions, also tend to be, if not irrational, then in the case of Sam Bankman-Fried and FTX, possibly fraudulent. Every time we go through a battle test of the crypto asset ecosystem, I feel better. I feel better. If you look at the trajectory of Bitcoin, while the swings are wild, as Jeremy Siegel said on our podcast yesterday, he doesn't think there has ever been an asset where more people have made so much money, even after these losses, in such a short period of time, 12 to 13 years. So our conviction is as high as ever. And you will see from our Bitcoin Monthly, which will be out on Monday, how our on-chain analytics look even after this battle test. The outlook is positive based on on-chain analytics that show massive capitulation that we typically see only at bottoms. And that's why we're so impressed. We didn't get back down to 10 to 12,000. You know, a lot of the traders and hedge funds involved in crypto just look at the charts and press and press and press and press until they get what they want and get what they believe will happen. Well, that didn't happen. Now, I'm not saying it won't, but I think the odds have gone down quite dramatically. And truly impressed at the relative stability, especially in Bitcoin and Ether to some extent. What we encourage our companies to do, now that we are ready for prime time, is to invest aggressively right now to capitalize on some of the most important investment opportunities of our lifetime, of the last, really ever. We believe that the market cap associated with truly disruptive innovation, transformative innovation, will go from 7 trillion now, less than 10% of the global equity market cap, to 210 trillion in the next 8 to 10 years. That's a 30-fold increase. That's exponential growth. And I think that a reason a lot of people have trouble with our strategy is we've grown up in a world of linear growth. And the last time many investors heard the phrase exponential growth was in the tech and telecom bubble. And there's a lot of muscle memory associated with that. Many of those managers became value managers. I know, and I hear them denigrate our strategy, perhaps because of their experience. We've been doing the real research on disruptive innovation. And according to Wright's Law, and according to all the learning curves, cost declines, and so forth, we are ready for prime time in the 5 areas around which we have centered our research and investing. Multiomics, so what we used to call the genomic revolution, robotics, energy storage, artificial intelligence, and blockchain technology. The technologies are ready. We didn't even get the cloud until 2006. We didn't have the big breakthrough in deep learning until 2012. We didn't get the cost of DNA sequencing down to $500 per whole human genome until this year. So, but we're ready for prime time now.
С тобой так хорошо, с тобой и летом, и зимой, с тобой я бы всю жизнь провел, с тобой. бросал ожидание вокзала. Стою и смотрю куда-то в сторону перрона, и забыв уже, как все мне надоело, я вижу, как ты выходишь из вагона.